Buenos tardes, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Little break dancing. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. One time for it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. For your motherfucking mind for it. Bye-ya. 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 Orale, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Yes, indeed. Orale, ese Bozo, right? Hung, hung. Now, trip out. Homie, don't play that. In a menudo style, direct fashion, man, I got some things to say. I got some verbalage to put out there. I got some knowledge you can't get in college, and maybe you can, but it's up to you to go get your AA. Not me. I already did that. Now, one thing I'll say for sure is facts, right? Everything I'm going to speak is facts. Facts and my perspective on how I feel about certain things that Vato has said. Now, I've let a lot pass. I haven't spoke his name much, man. I've showed him nothing but respect, and I don't know that man like that, so I'm going to continue to respect him. But at the same time, Holmes, as a person from up north, I feel there's a bias there, so I must demand some respect. Even though I'm not a gang member and I'm not out there wiggling on the streets like that, I do wiggle, right? And one thing I will say for sure is when I hear another man speaking upon another man and belittling their reputation or belittling what they got going on, I feel like you're pointing the fingers at yourself, man. I feel like you can't play both sides of the fence. That's it, you're either with it or you're without it. And for the most part, everything that Bozo says, even though he's a highly intelligent individual, and I agree with a lot of what he says, some things he's just putting his fucking pata in his mouth, and it smells like toenails, right? Roasted toenails. So I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, Holmes, there's a lot that this Vato says that I definitely don't agree with, and I'm going to speak on that right now. So here we go. Watch out. Guard, are you ready? Better get ready for that right, Bessie, because I'm going all out. Right now, trip out. So first and foremost, let's touch on this thumbnail. Food stamp in the back. Because when I feel something is damn near but ain't quite that, you know, it's like a food stamp to $1 just to make them holler. You can go in a 7-Eleven, let's say, and use it, but you cannot buy hot food, right? And definitely what I mean by hot food is you can be a gangster if you're going to be a gangster, Holmes. You're full dollar, make them holler, man. You're for reals with it, right? You know, when you're doing that food stamp shit, you're a wannabe. You want to be something that you're not quite are, and you manipulate the masses to thinking that you're something that you're really not, right? And I don't agree with that. I agree with be yourself. Hey, if you're not from Avario, if you're not really in the mix like that, if you're not really what you portray to be, then that's the best thing for you to do is step on back before someone checks your chin, and especially your own people, because people feel a certain way about individuals trying to front or half step. You know, be real, just let it be known. You know, when Sasuke, look, I'm not active. I don't gangbang, Holmes, but I sure lived that life. I lived enough to give a few people active careers, right? There you go, toma, run with it. Now, when it comes to Bozo, he's definitely an individual that has a platform. He's a rapper. I'm not going to sit here and say that I listen to his rap music all that much because I don't, right? I just found out about him a couple years ago, and the few songs that I did listen to just wasn't my forte, wasn't my flavor. Not that he's not a great rapper or a good rapper. He's very gifted lyrically and with the way he spits, but it's just never been my cup of Arizona iced tea, right? I just never really cared for it. But I'm not saying he's bad at all. He definitely can speak, and he's definitely intelligent. But some of the things he said in the past, man, has kind of irked me. It's kind of got under my skin just because I'm from Northern California, right? Straight up. You know, I don't play that north-south stuff. I stopped playing that years ago, and not because I'm non-active. It had nothing to do with that. I stopped playing that north-south stuff even when I was active, right? I no longer tripped on my gente. I no longer tripped on my raza because I was of the understanding that we were the same damn thing. See, we were all dollars and not food stamps. We were all real with it. So I stopped taking the initiative to go hunting and seeking and looking for that. If it came to my plate and the Vatos wanted that, then we were going to have to go ahead and get that right there on the spot. We were going to get off where we were mad at. But there was no more seek for the attention. There was no more looking for those people that I considered ops in the back, you know, way back in the days. I no longer consider them opposition. I consider them brown men from Southern California, and we had a little bit of a different stilo. But at the end of the day, we all ate tortillas. That was my get down. That's what the narrative that I pushed then, and that is the narrative I continue to push now. There is no difference to me. Now I go to LA, I go to San Diego, I go to San Bernardino, and I wiggle. Now I know certain individuals don't feel too nice about that, and they'll probably get my top off if they can, you know what I mean? But I'm a hard cork to unscrew. That's facts. Now, one thing I'll know for sure, and I'll say for sure, is this. Bozo seems to be playing the north-south issue. He seems to be making some derogatory statements like if the North is beneath the South. The North is nowhere beneath nobody. You know, just like the South is not beneath anyone. Now, let's just be cut and dry because I'm as real gets, man. And I keep it real and fucking actual and factual. We all know that the South has numbers. Facts, right? But that's if we're speaking gang-wise and if we're speaking behind the walls in prison, you know? If we're just speaking California-wise or the world-wise, now we're all Mexicanos. We all come from Mexican blood. We all come from Chicano blood. So at the end of the day, we're all the same, homes. You just happen to grow up and live in Southern California, just like I happen to have grown up in Northern California. But I got primos that carry the same sangre, rock the same last name, that live down south, that wiggle in a Sureño fashion, and they are real Sureños, right? There's a difference between Southside Sureño. It's not my politics to speak on, but I put it out there before, and I've said it in the past. There's a very vast and big difference. And those that know, know. And those that don't already, it's not up to me to give you that type of clecha. Go get at your older homeboys. They'll run you down. Basics. Now, trip out on this. I understand that Bozo plays that Southerner card. You know, he is a Southsider, an actual Southsider. And that's facts, allegedly, you know. And one thing I'll say for sure is if you were laced to play the North-South issues, if you were laced that way and you continue that struggle, because there's even Northerners that do that. My own homeboy Spookia de Casitas is always going to rock like that. And I get at him in the background and in his ear, and I tell him, hey, bro, it ain't like that no more, man. You shouldn't rock that narrative. It's different now. And he says, nah, the sangre that I spilled and the things that I've go through, I've already molded me into the person I am, and I'm too old to change. And I said, I understand that, bro. But at the same time, there's no way that I'm going to let you constantly disrespect these vatos, in front of me, and, vice versa. I'm not going to disrespect the people that you rock with, because at the end of the day, man, I rock with all raza, all gente, all people on Earth, planet Earth, right, with the F. Orale, see, the F can be used for something, not just Fresno. Straight up, right? And I definitely will back the play of my gente. If I see 3 Sureños, 3 Southsiders walking down the street right now, and some white boys or Africanos get out the car and they're tripping, well, guess what? There's going to be 4 Mexicans getting off right there, because I'm definitely going to back the play of my people. And it goes the other way. If I see 4 black guys walking and there's 10 fucking white guys jumping off, well, guess what? I'm going to back up the minority, because I've always been a minority militia type troop. I'm going to back up the people who have less people, unless there's some weirdos. Then, fucker, you're on your own. In fact, I'm going to be the 11th. Let's go, Woods, right? And it's on. So when it comes to Bozo, he said some derogatory things. And one of the things he said is that the North have surrendered and they don't want no more smoke. And that's why they're trying to keep it cool with the South. I mean, that's furthest from the truth. See, there's no retreat, no surrender. I come from a gente and I come from a people, man. In order to, where they go by a saying, in order to kill is a cruel necessity. But if one does not kill, how can one conquer? And if one does not conquer, what future is there for our people? See, it's always been about social status of equality with the North. It's always been about just being equal, never being above or behind or below. It's always been, hey, we want our just due just like everyone else. And when I was rocking and gangbanging, I definitely pushed that narrative and that issue, I was really solid with that. That was the reason why I got into what I got into. It wasn't the hyenas with the big old booties, because guess what? I get those all the time anyways, active or non-active. It wasn't about all the feria. Thank you. I'm doing all right, right? It wasn't about eating good in the neighborhood, because guess what? I'll pull up to any taco truck in any hood near you and say, get me a carne asada. It's never been about that lifestyle, the way they dress, the way they look. It was more about the philosophies, homes. I grasped, the concept of my people being equal. I loved that, homes. I was willing to go to a yarda and plant my flag and establish so my gente had a place to call home and lay their head at. And for that right there, people that do that and struggle like that should be commended. Now, we all know behind them walls, man, the Southsiders are the predominant group. I've heard many people talk about it before. Oh, man, who's the most ruthless people in prison? Who's the biggest group in prison? Who's this? And I know a lot of people don't want to say it. They don't want to say it because they don't want anyone to trip. Well, I'll say it straight up, homes. Nothing but love for the Norteño struggle, man. I got nothing but love for it, and I always have love for it. That's something that none of you weirdos can take away from me, right? You can say whatever you want to say, but you can't take that love that I have, that burning desire for the gente away, right? But one thing I will say for sure is the Southsiders are the deepest, most prominent and dominant group in prison. Facts, right? I know a lot of people like to sleep on that one, but that's just the way it is. That's in any real gangster and any real gang member and anyone that is seasoned and knows and educated will tell you that's just the way it is. Hey, sheer numbers equals power. Sheer power equals dominance. Dominance is people are going to push and rock that narrative, and that's just facts. Hey, you heard it first from a Walter from up north. Straight up. Southsiders are the deepest. And you best believe this. The brothers is strong, but the SA is the deepest. And that's just it. Now, I think Bozo comes from a fucking well-known, very righteous and respected area. Can't take that away from him, man. He comes from a seasoned area, a very educated area, an area where the gente and his people and his gang and his hood, barrio, are definitely got a lot of influence. They definitely are righteous and real ones. That I will say for sure. But this vato, as highly educated as he is, I see some flaws in his charisma. I see some flaws in his get down. I see some flaws in the way he thinks. You know, anyone that's still, this is 2023 and you're still trying to play that north-south shit, or you're still trying to divide people, your own gente, your own people, you can't play both sides of the coin. You can't sit there on the American Cholo podcast and talk about unity of the people and talk about we are all the same and the brown struggles and why don't the brown men get reparations and why don't the brown men have this, but exclude the North. Because those, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. You didn't hear it? Hey, last I heard, that's it. They were brown as well, you know? So you have to understand that when people are pushing that narrative, oh man, we just want what's best for our people, you have to include the North as well. And the same thing goes for any Northern channel that was pushing that dissension or pushing that division, man. You have to claim the South as well. We are all one people. We divide ourselves. That's it. The Africanos don't divide us. The whites don't divide us. We chose to do that, man. So the way to fucking build on that and to have anyone respect us, if we want the Africano brothers and the whites and everybody, yes, the woods, the Central Woods, if we want them to respect us, I said, well, guard, isn't it feasible that we would respect each other? Now, I've always been laced up with the respect game. Respect those that you oppose, or respect those that you feel, don't fear them, but respect them, homes, and respect that fear if you do have fear, because you got to understand, man, the way you wiggle is going to always dictate the program. But this guy does not respect guys from Northern California. I've seen where Swifty Blue has a cordial relationship. I'm not going to say a great relationship because I don't know the extent of the relationship with the Vato Gotos, right? Julio. And maybe it's a business relationship. Maybe Julio's trying to lace him up in the game. Maybe he's trying to distribute some of his music. Either way, Swifty was willing to break that barrier and go out of the blue, man. And he was going to go out of his way to work with Gotos to make something happen, to show not only unity, but to show, man, to go get that bag. Basically, that was after that bag. And I ain't mad at him, right? You know, he's tired of pawning shit. He was going to go get that bag. The bagalization was real. And then I seen Bozo, because there was conflict between them, play that card and say, you have to, hey, you're over there doing songs with Northerners. You're over there doing this. What's wrong with it, ese? So what happens if one of your camaradas decides to do music with the North? Is he all bad? Is he no good for that? I mean, if they're in prison and playing handball together and you know what I mean, and keeping it cordial and respectful, what's the difference with Vatos out here playing a little handball out here? What's the difference with Vatos making music together? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just let it happen, puppet, right? It's going to happen eventually. You know, you can't be one of those guys. You can't be a follower your whole life. If you get on a platform and you act like you're that one and you're trying to display leadership quality skills and you're up there trying to dictate programs and let everyone know what should and shouldn't happen with the brown people and showing up to No Jumper, showing up to Adam 16's little spot, man, with Gil back in his play, which I commend you for that. That was righteous, right? But still, if you're going to do that and be the voice of the people, be one of the voices heard for the people, then you got to be a voice heard for all fucking people. Now, if you don't consider the North your people, at the end of the day, if you consider them the other side and the opposition, well, you got to go ahead and stand on that, because one day, Holmes, one day we'll be together. Everybody's going to come as one, bro. That's the future. I said, that's the way that it's leaning. Now, I understand that you might be behind in times, but you can't go bad on Swifty or go bad on certain other people just because they're showing a little love to the North. You know, where is your aggression? You know, when Gotos is sending packages to Spanky Loco, where's all that? You know, when he's doing things with Little Weirdo, or was it Grifo, Spence on la Tira, Weirdo. Spence, I don't fuck with the North either, he's saying, right? Look, all I'm saying is this, and these are facts. Bozo seems to have a lot to say, but then he switches up. You know, he switches up, man. It seems like if you're having a beef with someone, you're going to go ahead and throw that out there all the time. You know, just because you had a beef with Swifty, man, who gives a fuck who he does business with? That's none of your business. Your business is yours, Holmes, and you should worry about that. Now, I'm not here for division or dissension. I'm not here to clowns Bozo, no, right? I'm not here to clown Bozo. What I'm here to say is what's real is real. If you're going to be a voice for gente, man, speak for all people. See, one thing about me is I have a platform and I provide realness right here, man. And I understand I'm hated. I understand a lot of people don't understand me. I understand a lot of people don't fuck with me because they feel a certain way about me. But at the end of the day, it's how I wake up, look myself in the mirror, and feel about myself is all that matters. I don't care about any diss songs. I don't care about what people say. You know, you got a lot of fucking non-actives around YouTube running around calling other people non-actives. Mind blown. Go figure that one out. You know what I mean? And that's funny, you know, what it is, and I boiled it down to people just want to utilize my name to get views. Well, guess what? I said I ain't even getting that many views. So go ahead, ponle, whatever works for you is definitely Gonna work for me. Because Drake Day only make gun looks pay day. You understand what I'm saying? All day. And I really mean all day. Now, when it comes to Bozo, man, I think he's a voice. He's a voice to be recognized. But again, he put his foot in the mouth one more time. Damn, I know his shit smells like pata de puerco, because he definitely said when this guy Money Sign Suede passed away or was murdered in prison, allegedly, and I say allegedly with actuals, factuals, but you know, I'm just not trying to speak on that too much anymore. But one thing I'll say is this: rest in peace to him, man, and condolences to his familia once again. You know, I know it's a hard pill to swallow it, but it happens, man. It's been happening. He was just a little bit more famous, so we heard about it a little bit more quicker. This man, you know, had the audacity to say, it is what it is, you know, and it be like that, you know. First, there was another guy that definitely said that, man, I forget his name, West Coast something. He said that, and I've never watched that individual's, what he puts out on YouTube, so I really didn't know who he was, so I was like, who is he, you know what I mean? He's like a buzzer to a shit factory, just it really ain't nothing, man. You don't really see him, all you see is and smell shit. But when I seen Bozo say, you know, like I said, I respect this guy, I was like, man, he's better than this. He's more intelligent than this to say that. I understand that, man, this new school era and a lot of these things, there's a lot of shit I don't agree with as well, sir. There's a lot of things that I don't like, fucking, I like to breathe, so I don't like tight pants. But at the end of the day, these kids are going to do what they want. And I don't think this guy got killed behind some fucking tight pants and saying the N-word. I think it went a little bit deeper than that, but it's nothing for us to speak on. But at the end of the day, man, you don't say like, whatever, it's you know what I mean, shit, he deserved it, because nobody deserves to be massacred in a shower, man. Nobody deserves that unless you're a weirdo. If you're a weirdo, orale SPM. Shower time. You know, I understand that, but for him to just, it seems like this guy wants the attention or seeks the attention, so he says what's in the opposition, what's the opposite of everyone else. And I understand what standing on your own 2 feet and being your own man righteously. If that's your opinion, that's it. That's your opinion. I just don't agree with it. I just think time and time again, you're anti-raza. It's anti what the people really feel, you know. A lot of people feel some type of way. I don't feel some type of way because that kid, you know, was from the South, the North. None of that shit mattered to me. I felt some type of way because it was another brown man being hit in a shower, you know. It's like, what they gonna do, man? Why did it take them so long to find him? What's going on? Maybe they could have saved his life. I'm more mad at the administration, man, for not doing their fucking jale, is what I'm mad at. Whatever blunder or whatever he did to get himself in that position, you're right, that is absolutely on him. But at the end of the day, man, we have to establish a yard. That's what we fought for social status of equality. That's what the brown man fought for in the beginning, so that way our people are protected. I'm just saying, though, you know. So when Bozo recognizes that and stops disrespecting the North, if you feel some type of way about the North, if you feel that they're beneath you or you're ahead of them, you know, that's cool. That's your opinion, and you could feel that way. But I'm here to tell you, bro, you know, you can't walk in the city of Salinas and say that, or the city of San Juan and say that, you know, unless you're hiding behind a mask or a fucking handkerchief around your face, a YouTuber. You can't do that. You know, you can't do that. Because in real life, if you were really about that business, then your mascara would be seen, right? You wouldn't have nothing to hide, huh? Oh, scary ass. What I'm saying is real life and real talk. You know, when it comes to Bozo, man, I commend you on what you have done for the community. I commend you on, you know, going out there and getting your bag, Holmes, and not coming up short. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm not feeling that you think the North gave up and waved the white flag, Holmes, because I know there's a whole bunch of dudes in federal prison right now that would beg to say to differ, right? I know that there's a whole lot of soldados out there that are still striving every day and functioning, doing them burpees, sweating, struggling for their people, man, that would say something different, you know? If you want to be about the brown people, if you want to help the people, Holmes, then be a voice of unity. You don't have to say North and South has to unite, but you can't woof on a certain people, man, just because you don't like them. Be a real man. Real men recognizes real. Even if something you don't like, Holmes, if a motherfucker does a good job, I'm gonna tell him you do a good job. I don't agree with all that Cali Mac bullshit, but I agree with a lot of the shit American Cholo says, and whether he likes me or not, I say he's doing a good job because he's out there in the community outreach and trying to help the youth and trying to help people. When you get on that program and you're not just halfway in, halfway out, doing the Humpty Dumpty, turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. Guess what happened to Humpty Dumpty? He fell off the wall. All the king's horses and all the king's men, they couldn't put that Vatos mentality back together again. That's just what it is. Anyways, my respects to Bozo. I just wanted to voice my opinion because everybody seems to be saying something. I held back for a long time. But to belittle the North just because you have an agenda or you feel a certain way about them, that's utter ridiculousness and lies. The Vatos are still functioning. They're still on yardas. They're still on the streets. Hey, when they are eradicated and they can't maintain anymore, then you could say you have won. There is no victory, man. At the end of the day, you are just lucky to have been born in the South, Homes, where the struggle ain't as real. Well, I'm not going to say as real. Spence, I said that. There's different types of struggles, right? But the struggle a Northerner goes through, you'll never know, just like the Northerners will never know. Just like I said, your guys' struggles, that you go through, right? So at the end of the day, everyone has their issues. And if you know and you see how you feel affected by your people, then why are you going to belittle a smaller man or people that are, you know what I mean? There's not as many. It just doesn't make no sense. With that being said, move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, everything that you hear on YouTube ain't always what it seems to be. Most of the time, these motherfuckers are hiding behind masks or fucking dropping out left and right, like out of 2 different gangs, and talking shit. You already know what it is. If you like it, throw 2 thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's gonna be the head that wears guns crown. I'm gonna continue to slide, slip, hustle, bang, do what I wanna do, but not gang bang. I'm talking about banging tortas. I'm gonna do what I does, cuz. This is the gun. Bang, bang. Orderly Bozo.